There was a man in a small town who talked more than anyone else. He talked at work. He talked with friends. He talked during meetings. He talked even when nobody asked him anything. People laughed with him sometimes, but most of the time they just ignored him. Whenever he tried to share an idea, someone would interrupt him. Whenever he tried to explain something, someone would say, "Relax, nobody asked you." Slowly, the man started to notice something painful. Nobody really listened to him. They only waited for him to stop talking. One evening after another long day of being ignored, he sat alone in his small apartment. He thought about everything that happened during the day, every joke people made about him, every time someone rolled their eyes, every time someone cut him off. And for the first time in his life, he asked himself a simple question. What if I just stopped talking? Not forever, just for a while, just to see what happens. The next morning he went to work as usual. Same office, same people, same noisy room. But something was different. He said nothing. When people greeted him, he simply smiled. When someone made a joke, he quietly nodded. When someone asked a question, he answered in one short sentence and stayed silent. At first, nobody noticed. In fact, people seemed happy. The office suddenly felt quieter. No long explanations, no extra stories, just silence. But after a few days, something strange started happening. People began to notice that the man who always talked was no longer talking. His co-workers looked at him during meetings. Usually he would be the first one to share ideas. Now he simply listened. One day the manager asked a question during a meeting. Everyone stayed silent. Normally this man would have already shared 3 ideas. But now he just sat there calmly. The manager looked at him and said, "You are unusually quiet these days." The man simply smiled. He said nothing. And for the first time, people became uncomfortable with the silence. Days passed. The man continued his quiet life. He spoke only when necessary. He listened more than he talked. And something surprising started to change. People began paying attention to him. When he finally spoke, everyone listened carefully, because his words had become rare. Before this, he spoke all the time. Now every sentence felt important. Weeks later, something even more powerful happened. People started asking for his opinion. They would say, "What do you think about this?" The same people who once ignored him now waited for his words. But the biggest change was not in others. It was inside him. By staying silent, he started noticing things he never saw before. He noticed how quickly people judged each other. He noticed how many people talked just to fill empty space. He noticed how powerful silence could be. One afternoon, a coworker approached him. The coworker said something unexpected. "I used to think you talked too much, but now I realize something. You were the only one actually thinking." The man smiled again, still calm, still quiet, still observing. And suddenly, everyone in the office began respecting him more than before. Not because he talked louder, but because he talked less. People value what is rare, and silence made his words rare. Months later, the same manager, who once ignored him, promoted him to lead an important project. During the announcement, the manager said something interesting. He speaks only when it matters, and when he does, everyone listens. That was the moment people truly understood the lesson. The man had not changed the world. He only changed one simple habit. He stopped trying to be heard all the time. And when he finally spoke, the whole room listened. Sometimes the most powerful voice in the room is the one that speaks the least. Because silence forces people to notice you. Silence gives your words weight. And silence reminds people that not every moment needs noise. So the next time you feel ignored, the next time nobody listens, remember this simple truth. You do not always need to speak louder. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply stop talking and watch how the world begins to listen.